Hello everyone, my name is Obadiapa, a student of ECTU level 200 of in computer science with index number 2425403082. Today I'm going to be creating a website, and my website will be featuring a calculator that performs 5 basic operations, that is addition, subtraction, division, multiplication and modulo. And so therefore we'll be doing this with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So we'll need the HTML for the skeleton, CSS for the styling to make the whole website look attractive, and JavaScript to make to implement the functions behind our buttons, behind our to give our website the functionality it needs, that is the addition logic, the subtraction operation logic. So without further ado, let's get down to it. So in here we've created a folder, and inside our folder we have our index.html, which will be featuring our HTML structure, the structure of the website. As you can see, it's blank because our HTML file is blank. And we have our index.js, that is our JavaScript file, and also inside is blank, our style. So let's get down to our HTML file. So basically we start by shift and exclamation mark, then we press enter to generate the boilerplate. So we're just going to change the title in here to calculator, and also we will add a link to our CSS file, that's style sheet, our href, that is our reference. Our reference will be style.css, as you can already see here. So now we're going to go inside our body, and also we first we're going to create a div tag, and then the div tag will hold everything inside, or hold our other elements inside that very div tag. Everything will be inside that very div tag. So without further ado, we will create that div tag, and we're going to give it a class of container. So it's going to contain all our elements we're going to be using for the calculator inside it. So inside again, we also implement a div tag again, and this time this div tag will sorry I'm going to create a header rather, and inside our header we're going to have an h1, that is heading 1, that will hold title calculator, and we're going to feature a small paragraph that says simple and interactive. Done. And we're going to add a little display, another paragraph here that will display. Okay, so we are done. Sorry for that. So now we're going to create a div tag again, and this time we're going to name it, we're going to give it a class of input section. In here we are going to place our labels and input inside it. So let's get down to it. So we're going to have label label class of first okay, so number, and here we're going to name it first number, place a hash over here so it looks nice. So under it we're going to add our input, and then inside our input we're going to receive in a type that is text. I'm going to receive text. I'm going to give it an ID of num1, and we just copy the same thing for num2. Just have to change this to second, and so here we change it to second, and here we change to num2, and inside here we're going to add a paragraph that will display error messages. So we're going to set that to none. We give it an ID of message, as I'm giving it a short form of MSG. Set it to blank initially. Now we have, so now what our HTML structure right now has is we have a section for the header, and we have a section for our input side where our numbers will be inputted on num1 and on num2. So if I refresh the page, you see that it appears over here, as you can see over here. So now let's implement the button side. Let's implement the buttons. So let's try and code the buttons too. So without further ado, I'm going to give it a div tag, also store it in a div tag, name them button. I give it a class of button short form for button container, and inside I'm going to create another div class to take the all the operation tag. So I'm going to name this, I'm going to give this a class of button row, button row, and inside we're going to have our buttons. So buttons, we're going to have buttons. Okay, so buttons. So inside here we're going to have onClick. I'm going to use the onClick. So add, this is a function. This simply means a function in JavaScript. So later when we get to our JavaScript file, I will explain why this is there. So right now let's just skip it. So we're going to give it a class of add. So in here will be our add button. So we just have to put them down. We just have to copy this and paste it a few times. So we change this to subtract, right? Subtract, and we give it a class of sub, short for subtract, and then our subtract button. Also, so here we give it a multiply function. Sorry. Multiply function, and here we change it to multi, short form for multiply, and we come here we change it to multiply. Also For our last one, we have division, so we do the divide. And inside here we change the class to div, short form for divide. So we have a divide function, divide button to over here. Okay, so I'm changing this so everything looks nicely done. So we're going to add a modulo button too. So in here we're going to modulo, so change the class to modulo and change the button to modulo. So now, as you can see, we have our structure for our files in here. We have the structure of our ATM already done. So in here you can see that we have our header, that's our h1 tag over here. Our h1 is our header. That's the little paragraph that describe our calculator. We have the input for the first, we have the label for the that's the first number, and the input for the first number. Same similar for the label for second number, and then the input for the second number. And then when you come, as you can see, here is the paragraph we implemented. So this will display an error message anytime we do something that goes against, that doesn't go well in our code. And here we have our buttons. That's subtract, multiply, divide, and modulo. So I'll be adding a button, a clear button. That is after we've done all our calculation and want to refresh and clear everything. We click on the clear button to clear all our contents. It reverts everything back to its original form. So now we give it the onClick function. We give it an onClick then method, and then we set it to clear function. We name the function clear. A class of clear. Now we will add our result section, so a paragraph, and we give it a 0 and give it an ID of output. So result of output, it will be please 0 over there at first. So now, as you can see, we have everything we'll be needing for our HTML structure. So now let's head over to our styling. So we implement our styling. We go with the absolute styling. So we go margin 0. We set our padding also to 0. Box size, so border boxes that is over there. We come and we give our font family of font family font family. We use new times from over here and serve. So we go to go. So now we implement, we come to the body, we set our minimum height to 100 image. We set our display to flex, and we set to justify content to center, align contents. I will align our elements vertically, we align it centrally, we put it in the center. You can see the changes are done in the HTML. I'll give it a background color, a background of linear gradient, as hashtag, yeah, 1E3E72, as you can see. And also, okay, give a comma when it comes to a mega value, that is hashtag 2A5298. So as you can see, it's didn't take effect already, so I want to move on. So I want to know everyone wrong. I can't even show over here. See over here how background color is set to blue. So now we come to our container. As you can see, our container, we're going to select this class container. So let me copy it quickly to the style, paste it over here. We're going to style container, so we're going to give it a width of 360 pixels. Give it a background of F4, F7, F. There's our background for our calculator. We choose a border radius of 20 pixels. We give an overflow of heading. Then we move next to our box shadow. Implement a box shadow of 0.25 pixels, that is to the left and right, and also 40 pixels, that is to the bottom. An RGBA value of 0, that is blue value, a green value of 0, and also a blue value of 0. Then change our alpha value to 0.2. So as you can see, it should show so black. As you can see, about shadow around it. So now also we head to the header tag. We now style our header. We give a background of linear gradient. Yes. 3, 5 degree. Hashtag 6A 5E 5C rather, FF, and also hashtag 9B5CFF. Okay, I don't know why it's not working over here. So basically it's supposed to work. Okay, so our header is not a class. Sorry that much. So as you can see, it worked over here. So now move on to the padding. we set our padding to 12 pixels, and also we'll give our color and the value hashtag ff, that is white. Send our text alignment, that is to the center, so it centers all our texts to the center. It brings all our texts to the center, as you can see. So now we are done for the header. So now we're going to head to the h1. We're going to style the h1. Okay, sorry, we're going to style the h1. So we give it a font size of 22 pixels, and also a font width of 600. Font width of 600. We're going to move to the paragraph section. We're going to start with the paragraph section. So give it a font size, so it's start. So let's go. Give it a paragraph section. Okay, sorry, I'm supposed to give a class to my header. Sorry about that. So we give a class, yes, header. Over here, when we come to HTML file or CSS file, we can implement the header over here. So we come here, we go dot header. As you can see, if you refresh, it's still the same. So I'm going to start over here dot header. And our paragraph side. So now we start with again our font size. Our font size of 14 pixels. Our opacity is how well our text can be seen to a 0.4. And as you see, it has been blurred out a bit. And then our margin to the top. Margin to the top, we set it to 4 pixels. As you can see, it has been shifted downwards a bit here. So basically we're done with the starting with the header. So we head on to the label. So I'll be very quick at this. So font size, we have a font size of 12 pixels. Font width, of 600. Margin bottom is 20 bottom. We set the margin bottom to 6 px. Then we set display to block. Also we set our margin left to 40 pixels. As you can see, elements have been shifted to the left side a bit, or right side a bit. So now we come to our input. So if we're going to style our input, we give it a width of 85 pixels, 85%, that is 85%. Display block, we're going to margin, sorry, that's my margin very well. Margin of 0 to 19 px total. As you can see, so here our padding, we set it to 14 pixels, 16 pixels. So to the 16 pixels. So to the top and the bottom 16 pixels, to the left and right also 16 pixels. 14 pixels for the to the top and bottom, and then 16 pixels to the left and right. And then we set our border radius. Set our border radius, and it's 25 pixels to give us a rounded edge. Right. We set our line to none. Set our border to 2 pixels, solid transparent, unless we don't want to see our border. As you can see, it has been transparent. It is transparent, as you can see now. You can see it over there. So let's continue. So we set our background to and we set our box shadow, to 5 pixels, 15 pixels. RGBA value of 0, 0. Okay, so we should put that shit lower. 0, 0, and 5. So you can see, we're getting shadowy boxes around it. So to the top there's no shadow around it. To the left and right I have 5 pixels of shadows around it, and to the bottom 15 pixels of shadow around it. So let's continue. So now we do margin bottom. Margin bottom I said. Sorry. Okay, so sorry, I made a full mistake. Forgive me. So we set it to 19 pixels, and also our font size. That is our texts that we inputted inside. We're setting it to 15 pixels. Okay, so now we get our transition of border color. Border color 0.25 seconds. These box shadow 0.25 seconds. These should add a comment there. So basically we're done with that. Now let's come to our input again, and this time we will add a focus to it. So our border color over here. So we set it to a value of 965 C5, as you can see. So now when we click on our input side, we see that it's highlighted, as you can see. So let's head on to our button container. We're starting our buttons. As you can see over here, under the button container. So we're going to copy this. Bring it over here, take it over here. So it's a color. So just paste it over here. Open it and begin to style. We set the padding of 12 pixels, of 20 pixels. Sorry. So as you can see, it has been stretched a bit. So now we move from there, and then we come to style our button. So we give our button row. We display it in a grid form. As you can see, we get template columns. We go for repeat. Okay, so repeat. We have 2 on each row. Sorry. So as you can see over here, we've implemented it. gap of, I'm going to give them a gap of 14 pixels. So spaces between them is 15 pixels. Margin bottom, setting it to 14 pixels also as well. So now we're going to start our buttons here. And I'm going to do a general styling of our buttons. So we set the padding to 16 pixels. Our border radius 25 pixels. We will remove our border, and then our font width. We will have 600. Sorry. Give it a value of 600. Sorry. So now the font size is 14 pixels as well. And we move over to our cursor. So anytime we move over it, anytime we move over it, it changes to a pointer, as you can see over here. So now our box shadow. Shadow, I'm going to give the top 0, to the left 9 pixels, to the left and right 9 pixels, and to the bottom 10 pixels. So 0. So you can see our box shadows, you can see shadows around buttons, all our buttons. We give it a transition. Okay, so let me add a comma back over here. And sorry for that. I'm going to transform 0.2 seconds ease and box shadow 0.2 seconds with ease and close it. So we are done with our buttons. So now we're going to style each individual button. So we come with our add. We set a background color. Oh, I forgot. So we set our background over here to hashtag 5B5 CFF. So I forgot over here we will set our color, text color to FF. So all our texts will be having a value of text color of white. We come to sub background hashtag 4D CSD. So I'm going to set our divide, our multiply to background color, background of hashtag 009. So I made a mistake. It yes. And we come over to our divide. So it was our class was div rather, sorry. over here, as you can see, change color and modulo. Give it a good column, span it into, as you can see, it stretches over here, stretches, as you can see. So we get a background of hashtag so as you can see, we're done with the structure of everything. So now let's come to our clear button. Okay, so we're going to start our clear button. So we give it a bit of 100%, and also margin of 10 pixels. Set our background color. Sorry, this is supposed to be hashtag cc online 0d. Sorry, we're supposed to set this to margin top rather. Sorry. So as you can see, everything is aligned perfectly well. Now let's do set to for our output. Okay, we didn't give an output a class, so I'll go back here and give it a class. So output. Come back here and style it. So we have a margin top of 22 pixels. We center our text. Center. As you can see, that is centered. Now font size. We give it 5 pixels. And also color. We give it. Sorry. It's a gray like color and a margin button. That's 6 pixels. So we're going to do the same for our message. I forgot, and then style our message. It's an ID SG. So we're going to do it's going to apply similar styling to it. As you can see over here, we'll reduce. So we're going to implement our JavaScript and to add our functions to it. Sorry, I did make a mistake with my modulo over here. Change the divide, yeah. Over here we did make a mistake. We'll fit it back to me. So let's revert back. So we're going to implement our JavaScript over here. That is, we're doing our calculation. Now when we click the buttons, nothing happens. When we input values and then we click it, nothing happens. See? So now we're going to solve that problem. So we're going to create a function, call all the necessary variables in the function, and then perform the calculation. So now we're going to start with our function keyword. We're going to start with our function keyword over here. Start with the add function. So now we're going to call and store all variables inside this. So we're going to go with constant equals num1 or status num1 document get element by id num1. So we're taking a value to that, so add a value to back We do same for num 2. Change the value over here. Num 2. Now we come for constant restore or output plus q id, which you get our id for output. That was output, right? So now, sorry, we will not be taking value for that. So now we take our message also, short form for the message document. We'll get element the id message. We're doing this so that it will make it easy to be calling them instead of using the document or get element by id every time we need them. That's why we're storing them in variables. Okay, so we don't get confused. So in here we're going to start implement an if function that will check if our inputs are empty, then display an error message down there for us. So if we go with the if function, then we go with if on num1 with strict equality is empty, and also on num2 is also empty, then what do we do? Now we're going to set our message, our output the text content, we're setting it to string 0. Okay, I made a mistake over here, so yeah. And our message will display yes and the values. Change the message color to make it look attractive. To red. So as you can see here, if I were to press the addition button over here, oh sorry, I didn't close it. So if I were to press the addition button over here, you see that we get a message of please enter values, and it changed the color of red because our inputs are empty. Okay, so now let's implement. So we just add return so that we know that we're leaving the returns everything inside it. So now we come and do the addition logic over here. So now we store variable in results, create a variable called results. Now we're going to store our addition. We're going to store our addition in it. So we're going to convert, because our input was a text that is string, we can't perform calculation with string, so we have to convert it to numbers. So we're going to use the JavaScript input method that is number to convert numbers in input 1, the inputs in the values in input 1, values in input 2, and then add them. So now we're going to set our output dot text content. We're setting it to our result, and we print a little message saying print a little message we change here, stuff we change it to green, and over here change it to down. So you can see if we were to add new values over here, and we press the add, our message will display done, and we will check we have a value of 9, which you can see over here, value of 9. That means our addition is successful. So just going to copy this function, Ctrl let's copy, implement it for the rest. Yes. Subtract. As you can see in our index, we named it sub rather. So we're just going to change this into subtraction, and as you can see, if you do the same, it will happen. So if you were to perform 5 and 4 and we click subtract, we get a minus, we get a 1, sorry, a minus 1 is there. Forgive me. So we're going to do the same for the multiply, multiplication, and division. So we check their names. So yeah, division, multiply. So we're going to change this to multiply. Change the operation that works over here. Change the operation that works over here. Sorry about that. Change the operation that works over here. Change it. Division. Change it to multiply. Change the operation over here too. So now let's try and see. So now we do add, we get done, and we get our value. We do subtract, we get minus, we get 1. We do multiply, we get 20. We do divide, we get 1.25. So we know that our functions are working. So now we're going to go to the modulo. We're going to do the same for the modulo. We're going to do the same for the modulo. So as for the modulo, we use the percent sign for. I'm going to change this to modulo. As you can see, why now it's from it's called modulo with that. So yeah, a small m, so it will work. Right. So now we have 4 over here. We have 4 over here. Display. We display our modulo. We get 1. And that's that. So now let's over to our clear function. So in our clear function, we're going to implement the clear function. So in here we'll be setting all the values. So after we've done this, we've done the necessary calculation. After we've done the necessary calculation, we want to do it so that we want to set the clear function so that after we've done the necessary calculation, it clears all the values over here. So let's get right into it. So we function clear. So within our clear, we're going to set everything here. That is here. Going to copy all this, come and paste it here. So over here, we'll set the value to an empty string. That is, set the value over here to an empty string. Same for here, we'll set it to an empty string. So do text or content, we set it to an empty string. So we set it back to 0. Rather. And here also text or content. I display to 3 dots earlier. So now we have a full functioning JavaScript, a full functioning calculator. So let's say we do our calculations for add, and we press clear. Something seems wrong. Let's see. I'll click. Something seems wrong. Let's go to the inspect page. Pause. Sorry, so I see where our problem is from. So I'm supposed to change this to a capital C. Sorry, this file, and so we come here and change it to capital C too. So now let's see. Perform our add. Now perform clear. Now we see that everything is set to clear. So now we have a full functioning calculator. Then anytime we press this, we get values. So now press clear and everything goes. So now set them up. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, modulo, after clear. So now we are done with our website. So this was a simple calculator. This was a simple calculator built with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So thank you.